Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troll.
(1973 to 1976). Welcome back, baseball fans. 1973-76 Carryover League. We got a special series today between the Philadelphia Phillies and Florida Marlins. It wasn't really a series I was going to broadcast because it was the first place Phillies and the last place Marlins. But of course, if I'm broadcasting, I must be a developing story. Game 1 in Philadelphia. Pete Falcone for the visitors, Pat Dobson for the Phillies. Explosions everywhere in this one. The Phillies are up for 3 in the first. Maddox double, Taylor walk, Luzinski single, Schmidt double, RBI ground out, 3-zip. Second inning, though, you get 3 singles and a 3-run homer of Ada Pinson, 4-3. Bottom of the inning, couple walks, Tony Taylor 3-run homer, 6-4. Marlins had a run in the third, 2 in the fifth. They take a 7-6 lead. Phillies come back in the 7th, take a 9-7 lead. Nobody can get anything done today pitching. And in the 8th inning, bases loaded, Louis Aparicio base clearing triple off of Gene Garbage of the Phillies. The Marlins get a road win, 10-9. Tom Bergmeyer gets a save, closing it out. Game number 2. Surely the Phillies will correct their mistakes because it's Vern Rule for Florida and Steve Carlton for the Phillies. Lower scoring game. Top of the third, Aparicio singles, Guerrero walks, couple outs, and a 2-run double by Manny Mota. Mota. 6th inning, couple singles and a ground out. 3-0 Marlins. Where's the Philly offense? Well, it erupts in the 6th. Finally, Maddox triple, McCarver double, Luzinski single, 3-2. But in the last 3 frames, nothing happens. The Phillies go 0 for 9 with a walk against Eduardo Rodriguez, who pitches 3 scoreless innings in relief of Vern Rule. A perplexed Steve Carlton just lost the game to the Marlins by a score of 3-2, and that's an 0-fer in Philly. And you know those fans of Philadelphia, they just love that when the home team cannot beat theoretically the worst team in the National League. Even though the Marlins are a plucky bunch, as you can tell. Let's go to Big Fish Country, down to Little Havana, Florida, Game 3. The Phillies get a little redemption here. Wayne Twitchell versus Ed Figueroa. First inning, Johnstone triples, Luzinski doubles for a run. You get a Roy Hal homer for Florida to tie it. Sac fly to McCarver. Phils reclaim the lead 2-1. Gary Thompson triple 3-1, and a 2-run homer by, is that Thomason again? Nice little free agent they got, Gary Thomason. They went out and got him away from the Giants. Nice day for Wayne Twitchell. 8 innings, 4 hits, just that solo homer. And that's your final 5-1 Phils. Road team has won every game. So what happens in Game 4? Well, Game 4, the Phils are going to send Pat Dobson back out there on 3 days rest against Rich Trodson, free agent from the Padres. First inning, Dobson kicks a ground ball hit back to him, and Manny Mota has an RBI double, 1-zip. Phils tie it on a John Jeter home run. Have you been following these Philly games at all, folks? They picked up this guy, John Jeter, just as a defensive fill-in late in games for Luzinski. He's earned a platoon, and he's just raking. 1-1 tie. In the 5th inning, though, Veda Pinson, solo shot. 2-1 Marlins. 6th inning. Goggin double, Melendez single, sac fly Roy Hal. 3-1. The lights have gone out to the Philadelphia offense once again. Got an RBI single, Veda Pinson in the 8th to make it 4-1. Troza went 6 innings with a run. Diego Segui, an inning scoreless. And then Tom Bergmeyer asked to get the last 6 outs for a 2-inning save. He gets it. A hit and a strikeout. The Big Fish beat the Phillies 4-1. They have won 3 out of 4. Developing story. They want to win this series 4-1. Take a nice little chunk out of. Let's take a look at the standings in the East. Phils started 15-5. They're 16-8. The Marlins. Could they catch the Mets for 3rd place? I don't know. The Marlins seem like a quick exit. But they might be playing themselves out of the first pick in the draft, folks, with a 10-16 record now. The Cubs, though, oh boy, what a terrible season. They're actually playing better. They started 2-11, but now they're playing better. They may have played themselves out of the first pick in the draft. Arizona, man, they started 0-10. They've ripped off 6 of 7. I don't know what these teams are doing. All the last place teams are suddenly catching fire, except for the Astros who lost to the Dodgers. Phillies down to 667, and that would no. They might still hang on to the number 1. We're not sure yet. TBD, as we'd like to say, but we're broadcasting a Game 5 from Florida to see if the Marlins can embarrass the Phillies a little bit by beating them 4-1, approaching the All-Star break. Your pitching matchup, oh boy, for your Phillies, yep. Coming back on 3 days rest, it's lefty Steve Carlton in 1976, 20-game winner, 3.13 ERA, 253 innings. Your Florida Marlins will counter with Pete Falcone. He is actually a Giant, eventually a Met, eventually, I believe, an Astro. 12-11, 4.17 ERA, and 190 innings for Pete Falcone. I think he was with the Cardinals as well, somewhere in there. Steve Carlton, Pete Falcone from Little Havana. Plug these numbers in there. And leading off for your Phillies, it's Gary Mathematics. 34, rounds of short. Bob Boone, 1-5 as a fly ball to center. And Tony Taylor, 57 is a strikeout. Bottom of the first, it's Felix putting me on. 59 off of Carlton. We're putting him on. 1-1-2. First base with a single. E-Rod, Ellie Rodriguez, 35, center. Manny, Mota. 2-5 is a 5-4-3 double play. Top of 2, it's the Bull, Greg Luzinski. 45 short X, it's Aparicio. 3.27 at short, makes the play. Schmidt, 38's K. John Jeter, 58, another K. You know what's odd in reporting on this? Even if the Marlins do win this and win the series 4-1, it doesn't create a significant dent in anything that's going on in the National League, which is really surprising when you see such a swing from a bad team and good team, a +3 in the standings. But we're playing them, folks. We're playing these games. We're showing you gotta, this could be the highlight of the Marlins season, so you have to, and it might be the last time you ever see this team. So we might as well give them their flowers while they're playing well. Willie Montanez, former Philly. 1-7, rolls to first. Hal McRae, 4-12, flies to center. Jose Morales, 37, flies to center. Walt Williams, 65, homer 1-11, and it's gone for Walt Williams, free agent from the Indians. Larry Boa, 66. Triple 1-2. Gets the triple 1-2. Rolls through the outfielders to the wall. Boa dusts himself off at third. Infield will come up for Denny Doyle. 33 pops out. Still up for Gary Maddox. 43, left X. Mota's a 3-3 and left. That'll be a fly ball A. That is a sac fly. And with 2 outs, Bob Boone, 48, double and an 8, base hit. Tony Taylor, 1-8, double to center field. Boone, 11, 12, 13. Plus 1 arm in center is going to run and score on a 7. Bob Boone put the afterburners on and just kept trucking around as the ball lazily got into the cutoff man. It's 3-zip. Lozinski, 512 Ks. Well, it earned them a broadcast, but you're seeing the warts of the Florida Marlins. 3-zip Phillies. Luis Melendez, 62, center. Aparicio, 1-4, line a second. And Guerrero, 62. This guy's a center. Carlton, perfect 9. Oh, not, sorry. Forgot that single. So much for the perfect no-hitter, whatever. Never mind. Skip that. Edit that out. Erase that, delete that. Whatever. Mike Schmidt will lead off in the 4th. 1-3, the whiff. John Jeter, 2-6, another whiff. And Walt Williams, 2-9, base hit. Larry Boa, 56, okay. Bottom of the 4th. Felix Pudding, me on, flies left. Ellie Rodriguez, 68, base hit. Manny Mota, 39, left. And with 2 outs, Willie Montanez, 5-10. 5-10 off of Carlton. Homer on 11, double arrest. Oh, we can't catch the homer. It's a double. We got to get Erod running. 11, a 12, a 13. Minus 2 arm makes it 11. We got to try it. He scores on a 3. They get 1 run. Runner at second. Tie run is Hal McRae. 1-7. Let's take a look at Hal McRae's card. If you're wondering, these expansion teams, how do they get their players? Well, they have a draft, and Major League Baseball protects their top guys. Well, here's the thing. Hal McRae on the Kansas City Royals as a designated hitter. The Royals are really talented, and they decided that they could figure out DH, and they couldn't protect McRae. And Marlins are like, we need players, stars. So we don't care that Hal McRae couldn't catch a cold. We'll put him in left field. We'll put him in, he's the third baseman now for this team. So in any event, Hal McRae in 1974 for the Royals, 310 with 15 dingers. 1-7, double 1-15. That's a 2-base hit. We have a 3-2 game. Now you got Jose Morales. 312, lines out. All right, Marlins making this a game. Top of the 5th, Denny Doyle. 48, double 1-5, lines out. Flies out. Gary Maddox, 2-8, third. And Bob Boone, 58 is a K. 3-2 Phillies, bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
All right, lefty. 3 hits and 2 runs in that inning. Bottom of the 5th, it'll be Luis Melendez, 66, flies left. Luis Aparicio, 54. Center X, you got Maddox, a 1-5 in center field. Great Philadelphia defense. You got a 1 in center, 1 at short, 2 at third, eventually be a 1 at third. 2 outs, Mario Guerrero. He strikes out. We go to the 6th. This is Falcone's breaking inning. 1 bad inning, he'll continue. Though, Tony Taylor crushes lefties. Let's, you know something? Let's get him out of there. Early hook for Falcone. As this Philly team, at least this group, really crushes lefties. Taylor, Lozinski, Schmidt, Jeter. Let's get a Ruddy in there and try and compete like this is a game 7, even though it's only game 5. You know? And it's on TV. And you really want to win this game if you're the Marlins and their fans. Eduardo Rodriguez will come on in the 6th inning. He was a Brewer in 74. 7.4, 3.62 ERA, 112 innings. Relief 3, starter 6. Swing guy, long man today. He will face Tony Taylor. For 11, right X. Out in right field, you have Jose Morales. Well, he's out there somewhere. I don't think he's near this ball. He's a 4-16. Jose, it's over there. It's a 4. He catches the ball. He comes sliding in and nabs that thing. Jose Morales. Pull your pants up, Jose. 1 out here in the 6th. Got, fell down and his pant button snapped in the zipper. Anyway, 1 out here in the 6th. It'll be Lazinski. 110 flies to left. On the 2 outs. It's Schmidt. 1-6. Let's take a look at Schmitty's card. How many times have I rolled homers on 1-5 or 1-6 or 1-7 or maybe even 1-10 or even 2-5? If it was 1981 on the template that Schmidt had 3 different times in his career. The 2 MVPs in 81 and 80. And here it's the same template in only his 2nd year in the league in 74. What a card. 36 dingers, 106 walks, a 282 average, a stealer, 1-6, homer 1 at 12. He'll miss it on a 17. It's a double. Runner at second, John Jeter, in there for defense with a lead. He'll swing away. 2-2, John Jeter. This is getting nuts. You simply got to watch the Philly games that have been put up this year and wait till John Jeter steps into the box. This cat might be hitting 500. We'll have to look at the stats at the end, figure this thing out. So here's the card. John Jeter, 1973, member of the White Sox. 299 at-bats with a 241 average and 7 home runs. He was on the Ohio expansion team a year ago, coming out of the San Diego farm system with a 300 card. It ran out of time, it ran out of juice, and it was put on waivers. The only reason this card is even in the league is for defense. But John Jeter, 2-run dinger, and the Phils add to their lead. My goodness. Walt Williams, 66 is a walk. Larry Boa, 2-5, rolls to first. Lefty, given a 2-run cushion, it's 5-2. Bottom of the 6th, Felix putting me on, 68. Base hit we are, first base. It'll be Erod. 1-4 is a 6. 4-3, double play. And with 2 outs, Manny Mota flies to right. Well, it would appear the Marlins may have done their best stuff thus far. Let's just keep going. Into the 7th. They have 2 Erods. They have Eduardo and Ellie. Here's and Ed Figueroa too. A lot of Eduardos on this team. Denny Doyle, 67, flies to right. Gary Mathematics, 36, single to 19. He gets it. You want to steal? Sure. And you're out stealing. 2 outs. Baboon. 4-10, pops short. 5-2 Phils, bottom of the 7th. Oh yeah, folks. You're loving it. You're hearing it. Love it when we're down in the deep southeast corner of Florida. We are enjoying the, when it eventually comes up, the fabulous Buena Vista Social Club. Iliad Ochoa, Campe Segundo, Ibrahim Farrar, and the rest. There it is. And Ry Cooter, of course, from 97, the original. Buena Vista Social Club movie. Oh, if you had the opportunity to see this in the theater when it first came out, that was it, folks. We've had a great PA system as well. Had to see this thing in the theater versus the video, the DVD versions. Doesn't look as good, in my opinion. Anyway, bottom of the 7th, 5-2 game. Lefty will continue. It'll be Willie a Mountain Eater. 1-4, flies to center. Hal McRae. 2-11, rolls a short. Lefty being lefty. Jose Morales, 3-10, flies to left. We'll go to the 8th. Eduardo continues. It'll be Tony Taylor. 42, pitcher. Luzinski, 2-8, double 1-10, double. Schmitty, 68, flies to left. And John Jeter, 56, he's not done. Single 1-7, oh, we can't collect the hit. We'll have to settle for a 1-for-4 day. Lefty will continue with a 3-run lead in the 8th. And they'll have Luis Melendez. 48 is a walk. Luis Aparicio. 1-9's a base hit in the center. And here come your Marlins with a couple of runners. Carlton, you don't want him to lose. One more batter's point of weakness. Here's the thing. They're really good against... they're much better against righties than lefties, which is why lefties finding success. At this particular moment, however, I think I want to go hook lefty and go right to Tug McGraw. Following up a lefty with another one. And have McGraw get a 2-inning save as a relief 3 with a 3-run lead. So that's what we'll do. He was on the verge of breaking anyway. Lefty will leave. The 2 runners are his responsibility. He cannot lose this game. McGraw can get a 2-inning save. Tug McGraw will come on in the 8th with runners on the bases. 1975, we had an offseason trade between the Mets and Phillies. It involved Max Garcia, Terry Harmon, Cy Acosta, draft picks. But McGraw ends up in Philadelphia, 9-6, 2.97 ERA, 103 innings. Can he keep the series alive for the Phillies with getting 6 outs? It'll be number 9 hitter, Mario Guerrero. This will keep Vada Pinson, Chuck Goggin, and Roy Howell on the bench. Mario Guerrero with 2 on. Here's the pitch. 2-9. Let's take a look at Mario Guerrero's card. Yes, he was with the Red Sox in 74. Their platoon shortstop. I guess in 74 they had him and Burleson. And he would not continue into 75, I don't believe, as Burleson's probably your everyday shortstop. Red Sox let him go. I think he ends up with Oakland, the California Angels. But Mr. Mario, 2-9, is a base hit in the center, and they will leave him loaded here as we go back up top to Felix putting me on. Now, you know, he's not going to hit a grand slam, folks. Let's just put that out. Well, you know what? He could. Felix Mion had 3 home runs in 1973. The infield has to come up because he's an A-bunter. Here's your pitch to Felix putting me on. 37, center B question mark. Do you want to run Melendez, make it a 2-run game? Not against the -2 arm, I don't think. No. Not going to run against Maddox and short circuit this rally. So he's out on a fly ball where the guy holds at third. And now you got Ellie Rodriguez. Another A-bunter they got to play it up. Here's the pitch. 2-10, fly by the lefty question mark. Now do you want to tag up against a 0 arm to make it a 2-run game? Kind of want to come away with something with 4 outs remaining. Right? Let's see here. Ball's still hanging in the outfield while I'm thinking about this. And it's drifting into Lazinski's glove. Who's the runner? Melendez. Still thinking about it. Ball's still drifting. It's a moonshot. Melendez, he's a 15, 16, 17. We'll take a 17 shot. We'll take a 17 shot here to make it a 2-run game. Here is the third of the plate. And he scores on a 6. So we do get a sac fly to make it 5-3. Didn't run out of the inning. It's 2 outs, first and second. And it's Manny Mota. 1-7, let's take a look at Manny Mota's card in 1973. Dodger. Probably the last year they let him go into the outfield, as he was a 3 with a +3 noodle. And of course, after this, he's got to be strictly a pinch hitter or a designated hitter, if there was such a thing back then in the National League. Oh well. That's that story. 1-7 for Mota is a base hit to left field. You can make it a 1-run game by running Aparicio. 14, 15, 16. We're going to run Aparicio. And he's barely in there on a 16. I'll double check that math. Aparicio, a 14. Yep, 15, 16. You do have a 0 arm of Luzinski. You left Jay Johnstone on the bench with a -1 arm. So that defensive change was not done by the lazy Phillies, and it may have just cost them a run here. The runner scores. Guerrero ends up at third as the tie run. Mota's at first, and you got Willie Montanez. Let's take a look at Willie. He played for everybody. He played for all of the world. He played for the Phillies. He played for the Philadelphia Eagles, the Philadelphia Flyers. He played for everybody, I think. He was a Giant. He was a Texas Ranger. He was a Padre. Everybody. He was a hat. He was a brooch. He was a pterodactyl. Willie Montanez. 1975 Giants had him. 302, 10 home runs, 650 plate appearances, 1 first baseman. I can't imagine why a team would just not want to hold on to the guy and just let him be your cornerstone first baseman. I mean, what's not to like? A lefty who can hit lefties who's a 1? Any event. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. Here's the pitch to Willie Montanez. 58 off McGraw is a fly ball to right. It's a 1-run game. We go to the 9th. Eduardo comes out. Williams, Boa, Doyle. We're going to go righty-lefty switch. I think we're going to go to Tom Bergmeyer in the 9th. For the Marlins. Another Red Sox. Bergmeyer actually was a twin, pardon me. 8-1, 250 ERA, 115 innings for your 76 Twins. 76 Twins. Also in that bullpen would have been Bill Campbell, who won 17 games. Won 17 games, which means Bergmeyer and Campbell combined for the Twins to win 25 games in the bullpen. Finishing games. That is staggering number of wins for 2 guys. Anyway, in the 9th, it'll be Walt Williams leading off for Philadelphia. 67 pops to first. Larry Boa, 112, Lomax. And with 2 outs, Denny Doyle, 1-6, rolls to short. Let's not make that same goofball defensively. Let's get Johnstone's 3 range in the outfield. We'll just plug him into Luzinski's spot. Proves a range and arm. We can get a first baseman in there too. We can get Gary Thomason in for Tony Taylor to turn a 4 into a 3, and that will conclude the substitutions. Bottom of the 9th for McGraw. It's McRae, Morales, Melendez for the Marlins in the 9th. Here's the pitch to Hal McRae. 1-7, you saw the card earlier. It's double 1 to 15. It's a 2-base hit for Hal McRae. We got a runner at second. And we got some free swingers coming up, folks. Yeah. Morales and Melendez, then you get a bunter, then another free swinger, then more bunters. So, yeah. So much for that. We're going to be hacking away here in the 9th inning, trying to tie this thing or win it. Jose Morales is the batter. Here's the pitch. 56 off McGraw is second X. This will get him the third. A 2-14 at second is the defense for Denny Doyle. He makes the play. McRae is at third. The infield has to come up. It's Louis Melendez. Let's take a look at Louis before he swings. He was a St. Louis Cardinal in 1973. 360 plate appearances with a 267 average. Actually, it's righties better than lefties. They're asking him for a big hit here. Louis Melendez. With the infield up and the tying run at third, here's the pitch. 35 is a ground ball to short. And it will come down to Louis Aparicio. Let's take a look at another Louis. Louis Aparicio was with the White Sox. He was with Baltimore, with the White Sox, the Red Sox. And you know what? He was good everywhere he played. My goodness, folks. 73 with Boston at 271. He no longer is a 2 shortstop. He's a 3 shortstop. Can still be a B stealer, A bunter, B hit runner, all that fun stuff. It's lefties better than righties. Can the Marlins tie this thing up in the bottom of the ninth inning in front of the home folk here with Louis Aparicio against Tug McGraw? Here's the pitch. 62 off McGraw is a comebacker to the mound. And the comeback falls a little bit short for your Florida Marlins as Tug McGraw and the Phillies survive Game 5 and win 5-4, reclaiming home field advantage by taking 2 out of 3 in Florida. Road teams won 4 out of 5, which means Game 6 back in Philadelphia. It'll be Larry Christensen for the Phillies against Vern Rule for the Marlins. If there is a Game 7, it'll be Wayne Twitchell for the Phillies, Ed Figueroa for the Marlins. We'll give you the box score, look at some stats, and the results of Game 6 and 7 if necessary at the conclusion, so stay tuned. All right, baseball fans, here's the box score of the game you just saw. The Phillies winning 5-4. Carlton, 7 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs. McGraw, a save, 2-inning save, 3 hits though. Falcone takes the loss. So what happens when we go to Philadelphia for Game 6? It will be Vern Rule, Larry Christensen. Bottom of the first, RBI single Luzinski. 3rd inning, RBI double McCarver. 6th inning, solo homer Gary Thomason, having a nice year. 8th inning, solo homer Mike Schmidt. Another run. 5 runs. 5-0. That's right, folks. Larry Christensen throws a 6-hit shutout, walks 4, strikes out 6. Pretty easy, paint by numbers. Phillies beat the Marlins 5-zip at home in Game 6 to even the series after seemingly on the verge of being embarrassed, down 3-1. So what happens in the Game 7? After a shutout, the Phillies get another shutout as the Florida Marlins left their bats in Florida, folks. Ed Figueroa, poor guy, had no chance against Wayne Twitchell. We get an RBI single Maddox. We get an RBI single Maddox. We get an RBI single Boa. We get an RBI double Schmidt. That's way more than enough. Figueroa, 8 innings, 10 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned. Here's an interesting little tidbit. No walks or strikeouts. That's hard to do, folks. The Phillies were very impatient wanting this victory by swinging and connecting on everything thrown to them. And meanwhile, Wayne Twitchell follows up the Christensen shutout with one of his own. Imagine that. You're not named Steve Carlton, and you just throw shutouts. Think about that one. If you're the rest of the National League. 7 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. The Phillies come all the way back. Yeah, I know it's the Marlins, but you're still down 3-1, and yeah. That's what they did. They came back 3-1 to win the series 4-3. Let's look at some stats. Phillies are now 19-8. If you win every series you play before the All-Star break, you get 20. You win 20 games. So the Phillies only lost 1 series, as I can recall, by the Ultimate Games. They're hitting .297 with a 3.33 ERA. Those are fine. 141 runs scored, giving up 109. Very good. McGraw's got 5 saves. Twitchell 6-1, out pitching lefty. Power department, Schmidt 6 homers and 17 RBIs, but he'll be behind Bench and Hank Aaron. We were talking about John Jeter. They're good numbers, not as great as I thought. He's probably played too much. He's 15 for 52 for a 288 average. 3 homers, 11 RBI. But still, he's not supposed to even be playing that much. And yeah, it's consistency. There's no real outlier here to go, oh my God, Philadelphia. Everybody's playing very well. If you remember that player, he's probably playing just as you remembered him. Florida Marlins, on the other hand, a collection of guys from the rest of Major League Baseball is not coalesced as can be expected. 10-19, hitting .270. Nice swingers, free swingers, but a 4.99 ERA. Ed Figueroa, bless his heart, has somehow lost 7 games for the All-Star break. He's 2-7 for a 10-19 team. which means they're 8-12 otherwise, I guess, right? Yeah, okay. They've scored 118 runs, given up 147. Tom Bergmeyer has 4 saves, has only given up 1 run in 14 2/3 innings. That's good enough to be the representative. Usually closers, because usually if they get the save, they'll probably be the representative for a terrible team. Because the regular everyday players who play most frequently are usually bad. However, I do need to suggest that Hal McRae has 7 homers and 15 RBIs and 36 hits. Overall picture, what did this do in the National League? Well, the narrative is still the same narrative. We got 5 really good baseball teams in the National League, and they're just having their way with everybody else. It's the Phillies, the Reds, the Pirates, the Dodgers, and the Giants. Now, all these teams had a postseason story to be told in the 1970s. Aside from the Giants, who are simply, I don't know, they're just a great team. I don't know why the Giants, well, historically, they would be behind both Cincinnati and LA, and that's just too much to overcome. So that's one big reason why the Giants did not find success. Had you put Cincinnati in a different division, then these two teams could have been the rivals that they are in the present day. And Cincinnati could have had to figure out a tough division where generally the Cubs and Cards are usually at the top in present day, in some order, most of the time. Anyway, that's it. Break up your Phillies. They win the series after coming back down 4-1. They win it 4 games to 3. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.